Henry Bowman, owner of a famous restaurant chain in Georgia, lay motionless in a pool of blood inside the walk-in freezer behind his flagship restaurant. His body shivered from cold and blood loss, and no one knew he was there. The only person who found him was Elijah. A homeless black man Henry had kicked out of his restaurant at least 5 times. Elijah had every reason to walk away, but he didn't. Instead, he stepped forward and made a decision that would forever change not just Henry's life, but the entire small town they lived in. Henry Bowman was the picture of success. The son of a retired soldier and a homemaker, he built his restaurant empire from scratch. But he was also known for something else: his rigidity, bluntness, and especially his old-school views on certain kinds of people. He banned any homeless individuals from even loitering near his restaurants, especially Elijah. Once an electrician, Elijah had lost everything after his wife's sudden death and a spiral of medical bills. Despite wearing ragged clothes, he carried himself with dignity and always spoke politely. But that meant nothing to Henry. "This is a place for civilized folks, not freeloaders," Henry once said loudly in front of staff and customers. When Elijah asked for a cup of water during a scorching 108 degrees Fahrenheit summer day. That night, Henry stayed late at the restaurant to take inventory because one of his managers had called in sick. While moving frozen goods in the storage room, he slipped. A metal bracket fell, stabbing deep into his thigh, slicing an artery. With no phone and the freezer door shut behind him, Henry was trapped. He screamed, banged on the door, but no one heard. Blood kept pooling beneath him. The temperature continued to drop. Then, faint footsteps. The door creaked open. Elijah stood there. For a tense moment, they locked eyes. Elijah could have walked away, as many had done to him. Instead, he rushed in, tore a strip from his shirt to stop the bleeding, and called 911 with a borrowed phone. "You're not dying like this," Elijah said. "Everyone deserves a second chance." Henry woke up in a hospital bed, leg bandaged, surrounded by pale hospital light. A doctor told him, "You lost a lot of blood. If that man hadn't found you within 10 minutes, you wouldn't be here." Henry blinked. "Who was he?" "The homeless man you kept kicking out," the nurse said. "Elijah Thompson." From that moment, something in Henry began to shift. Not instantly, not magically, but he couldn't stop thinking about how someone he deemed worthless had saved his life, without hesitation, without hate. 3 weeks later, Henry walked, with a cane, into the town shelter. Elijah was there, helping distribute bread. When he saw Henry, he paused, surprised, but kept working. "I owe you a thank you," Henry said awkwardly, like a man relearning how to speak from the heart. "And an apology," Elijah gave a small smile. "I don't need your apology. But if you really want to thank me, use what you've got to change something." Henry started small. Water coolers and bread baskets outside his restaurant every night for the homeless. Then he launched a job training program for those trying to get back on their feet. Elijah was the first enrollee. Within 6 months, 3 formerly homeless men were hired as full-time staff. A year later, Henry established a scholarship fund for minority youth, naming it the Elijah Fund for Second Chances. Something amazing happened. The community changed too. People who once cheered Henry for chasing Elijah away now donated to his fund. Local papers told the story. A small town began learning how to see people not by skin or status, but by heart. Years later, before passing away from old age, Henry said in an interview, "What kept me alive wasn't just Elijah's hands, it was his heart. When you think there's nothing left to learn, that's when you need to learn the most." Elijah and Henry's story is proof that empathy can come from the most unexpected places. That a single act of kindness, even from someone once mistreated, can tear down walls built over a lifetime.